This experiment recreated 2 billion years of Earth's history in seconds. What looks like water flowing through sand is actually a miniature version of how rivers carve continents and how entire worlds slowly disappear. And once you understand what you're really watching, ordinary landscapes never look the same again. At first, it seems simple. Water pours across sand. Tiny channels appear. The ground begins collapsing in some places and building up in others. But within seconds, something strange happens. The surface starts looking alive. Patterns form. Rivers split apart. Sediment moves. Miniature valleys begin appearing across the landscape. And suddenly, a basic experiment transforms into something much larger. Because this is not just wet sand. It is a tiny version of something Earth has been doing for billions of years. Mountains wearing down, rivers carving valleys, continents reshaping themselves under the pressure of water, gravity, and time. The reason this experiment feels so powerful is because it compresses deep time into something the human mind can finally observe. In real life, landscapes do not usually change fast enough for us to notice. Mountains do not disappear overnight. Canyons are not carved in a single storm. Rivers reshape the planet so slowly that human beings mistake the Earth for something permanent. But it is not permanent. It is constantly changing. And this experiment reveals that hidden motion is only a few seconds. Water searches for weak places. It moves downhill. It carries loose material with it. It cuts deeper where the flow becomes stronger and leaves sediment behind where the current slows down. The sand is not alive. The water is not thinking, and yet the result feels almost designed because natural forces create patterns that look intelligent even when nobody is controlling them. That's the unsettling truth hidden inside the experiment. Earth's surface may appear stable, but it is constantly being rewritten. The Earth we know today feels calm compared to its beginning. We see oceans, forests, deserts, rivers, and continents. But early Earth looked nothing like the world we recognize now. Billions of years ago, the planet was violent. Molten rock, collisions, volcanoes, a surface constantly reshaped by extreme heat and impacts. Over time, Earth cooled. A crust formed. Water gathered. The atmosphere slowly changed. Continents shifted and grew. Eventually, rivers formed, and once water began flowing across land, erosion began its patient work. That's what makes this experiment so powerful. It reminds us that Earth is not a finished object. It is a process. The planet has been reshaping itself since long before humans existed, long before animals walked on land, long before the continents looked anything like they do today. When you watch water cut through sand, you are watching a miniature version of planetary history. Water may seem powerful when it is still. A lake can appear peaceful, rain can feel gentle, but over enough time, water becomes one of the strongest sculptors on Earth. A single drop seems insignificant. A stream moves grains of sand. A river carries stone, mud, and debris. And over millions of years, flowing water can carve canyons, flatten mountains, build floodplains, and reshape coastlines. The important thing is repetition. Water keeps moving. It keeps falling as rain, gathering into streams, rushing into rivers, and carrying pieces of the planet away with it. The process rarely stops. That's why the experiment feels so dramatic. It reveals the violence hidden inside patience. It shows that a landscape does not need one massive disaster to change. Tiny forces, repeated long enough, can redesign an entire world. Every time water moves across land, it carries something with it: sand, silt, clay, minerals, fragments of ancient rock. Some of that material travels only a short distance, some travels across continents. Over enough time, those layers build into geological records. The Earth remembers movement. Cliffs become timelines. Canyon walls become chapters of history stacked on top of one another. What looks like ordinary stone may actually preserve evidence of rivers that flowed millions of years ago. Ancient oceans, floods, climate shifts, even traces of early life. The ground beneath us is not just ground, it is memory, written in pressure, sediment, and time. And the experiment shows that process is miniature. As water removes material from one place, it deposits it somewhere else. It destroys and creates at the same time. That is exactly what Earth has been doing for billions of years. Of course, this experiment does not literally contain 2 billion years, but it gives the human mind something almost impossible, a shortcut into deep time. 2 billion years is difficult to comprehend. It is longer than existence of complex animals, longer than every human civilization combined, longer than the edge of the dinosaur many times over. On that scale, even slow forces become world-changing. A river can shift direction again and again. Coastlines move, mountains disappear, sediment becomes stone, then rises, cracks, erodes, and becomes sediment once more. That is the terrifying beauty of deep time. It makes human life feel brief, but it also makes ordinary natural forces feel almost godlike. Given enough time, water can redesign an entire planet, and perhaps that is why the experiment feels unsettling, because it reveals how fragile solid ground really is. Human beings treat landscapes as permanent. We build cities on them, roads, borders, civilizations. We name rivers and mountains as if they will remain unchanged forever. Earth does not care about permanence. The ground moves, the sea rises and falls, rivers shift direction, volcanoes create new land, ice carves valleys into continents, wind strips mountains apart grain by grain. The world beneath us is not fixed, it is only moving slowly enough that we mistake it for stillness. That realization changes the way we see everything. A canyon is no longer just a gap in the land. A beach is no longer just sand. A river is no longer just water. Each becomes evidence of time moving through matter. Compared to geological time, human history is almost invisible. Our cities, languages, machines, monuments, all of them exist within the final fraction of Earth's story. And yet somehow, we are capable of understanding it. That may be the most remarkable part of all. A person can pour water across sand and suddenly witness a shadow of planetary history unfolding in front of them. We can recreate processes too large and too slow to observe directly. We can compress deep time into a few seconds, and for a moment, we can see the planet differently. This experiment is powerful because it turns billions of years into something visible. What begins as water flowing across sand becomes a miniature lesson in how worlds evolve. The most haunting part is that the experiment does not show something unusual. It shows something normal. This is what Earth does every single day. It changes slowly, relentlessly, without asking whether anything living on its surface is ready. Mountains fall, rivers wander, oceans advance and retreat. Sediment becomes stone, and stone becomes sediment once again. And in the end, the lesson hidden inside this experiment is both simple and enormous. Given enough time, even the smallest stream can rewrite the face of the world.